Y'all ready? Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
The meeting for Tuesday, January 24th is called to order. We will have the invocation by Commissioner Joanne Todd and the Pledge of Allegiance. Is right.
I think it's right.
Invocation by Commissioner Morrow and the pledge by Commissioner Todd.
Dear Heavenly Father, we are here today to ask for your blessing and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just in the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings, keep us united as a team, and work for the citizens of the people of our city. In your blessed name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Chair, before we go further, may I move to amend the agenda? I move that we consider approval item number 25, which reads, consider request from Spalding County to jointly fund a contract with Joe Tanner and Associates to provide consulting services to Spalding County with respect to the proposal of the United States EPA to include Spalding County in the new Atlanta ozone non-attainment area.
I have a motion and a second to amend the agenda to include item number 25. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Thank you. Okay. Okay, our first order of business is to recognize Mike Blackman of the Electric Department for 30 years of service to the city of Griffin.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
If I could I have Lee join me? I take great pleasure tonight in this 30-year award. Back in 1982, if I do my math correct, Mike came to the city 30 years ago and has his dedication, his professionalism on that first day has not changed to this day presently. We are very lucky to have a person like Mike work here at the City of Griffin, and I'm very lucky to be associated with him in the electric department. I put a great deal of faith and a great deal of responsibility on Mike, and every time I think that we're in a difficult spot, it seems like his decisions bring us through with shining colors, and I just want to say thank you, Mike, for everything that you do for us, for the 30 years of service, and I know Lee wants to say a few words also.
How y'all doing?
We're good.
First of all, I've been here with him most of them 30 years, so, but he's been a great boss. He's also been even a better friend on and off the job. Mike works as hard now as he did 30 years ago. He's dedicated, and I don't know what to say. He's just a great person, and we've had a good working relationship, and I want to congratulate you.
So, Mike, for 30 years of service, we'd like to present you. You are actually our first 30-year recipient, Mr. Mike Blackman, Sr., 30 years of dedicated service, and we all thank you.
Speech.
No, I'll probably tear up, so I appreciate it. I just want
Mike, it's not often you get employees like you, and it's an honor that we're able to take part in this recognition service of your hard work for the city of Griffin.
Amen.
And as a former mayor and as a city commissioner, I appreciate the hard work that you do, and I thank you for being the leader that you are with your fellows.
I appreciate it. I just want to thank my wife for supporting me.
Great segue, don't clap yet. This is unexpected, so Miss Ivy, if you will please come here. We also have something for Miss Ivy. Mike has been here for 30 years. He's dedicated his life, and that would not have been possible without the support of his loving family. So we would like to give gratitude to Ivy by her Griffin Power family in recognition of 30 years of love and support.
Next, we would like to recognize Judy Flournoy of the City Manager's Office as 2011 Strongest Link Award recipient.
I'm really excited that we have started this year recognizing our employees for their length of service, and that's obvious in Mike's dedication to the city, and as the year progresses, you'll see some more of those. Hopefully it won't be too many with that level of service, because the longer they work, the closer they are to retirement, and we don't like to see people like Mike leave us. It's also my pleasure to present tonight our Employee of the Year, or as you know, last year we started recognizing our employees as the strongest link in the chain. And first of all, I want to apologize to the employees that work directly for me, because I don't think they get the recognition that they deserve. And I hesitate to give them formal recognition or nominations. But this year they took me out of the vote. When we went to the Strongest Link in the Chain Award, we decided that it would be voted on by the directors and the staff, and I only get to vote in the case of a tie, and I don't think we've had a tie this year. So now that I'm out of the voting picture, it's open to everybody. And this year, as we started thinking about the strongest link in the chain for the entire year, it was obvious to me who that nomination, at least from me, should be. And of course, you have copies of Judy's nomination, but for the audience and for the press, I'd like to hit some of the high points in this. And I know your knees are shaking, but just be calm for a minute. Judy serves as the Executive Secretary in the City Manager's Office, and in this capacity, as you can imagine, her duties are as wide as one's imagination. But she fulfills all those duties with a spirit of dedication, not only to me and to you as commissioners, but to all the citizens that we all serve. And she takes personal pride in each one of those tasks. In this position, Judy has to perform as my secretary. She serves as a secretary to the board, to all of you, as a group and individually. She's the elections registrar. She handles a whole myriad of citizen contacts. She communicates with all the department directors and all the employees. She deals with vendors, and everybody that walks into City Hall comes to my office. She does this very politely, very considerately, very professionally, as she communicates, listens to citizens' complaints, listens to criticism, listens to compliments, and listens to scrutiny. She always puts the citizens' needs first, no matter what her schedule is, what her agenda is, how busy she is for the day. The citizens always comes first. She works with hourly employees and laborers. She works with professionally educated department managers, and the same with the citizens that she deals with. Although her workload is quite extensive, and it's certainly not limited to an 8-hour day, she never hesitates to stop what she's doing, to listen to an employee who just wants to vent, or to a citizen with a concern, or somebody that just stops by to say hello. With all the responsibility that we have as government, and with all the regulations that we deal with, the pressures of deadlines, Judy always puts the genuine concern for the citizens foremost. She never shows her frustration, never displays a bad mood. Not that anybody else sees anyway. She always maintains the same soft, polite tone, and she infests the building with a positive attitude and a pleasant demeanor. And I like to say that Judy works for 23,459 bosses. 23,451 of those are citizens, and of course the 7 of you, and then me on top of that. And that in itself makes for a stressful environment. However, she handles it extraordinarily. Another unique feature is the variety of all the things that she's asked to do, from recording minutes of various meetings and planning meetings and going and pick up Chick-fil-A when we have meetings and keeping her hand on the pulse of the community. She does it openly and honestly, and she's also not shy about providing feedback. I think it's a fitting tribute, and I think many of the employees of the City of Griffin will agree with me that it's a fitting tribute to recognize Judy Flournoy as our strongest link in the chain for the entire year of 2011. With that, I'd like to present Judy a plaque. We have her a big chain like the employees of the month get. Since it's gold-plated, we had to order it special.
You mean you took it off your ankle?
But I'd like to present her with this plaque. Also, as you know, in our policy, the Employee of the Year, Strongest Link, gets a $100 gift certificate, American Express. And also, our policy says they get 2 days off, and we'll have to work around that. But anyway, I'd like to present our strongest link in the chain for the year, Miss Judy Flournoy.
I really don't feel deserving, but I am honored, and it is a pleasure to work as a team member with Kenny Smith, and I'm grateful. I'd like to thank Chief Strickland for hiring me 8 years ago, and Kenny Smith for keeping me for 8 years. I could really say a lot about everything that he does, but it's just too much, but I am grateful, and thank you so much, Kenny.
Judy, I know I'm just one here. I assume we all feel the same, but you're just an absolute angel and help. And you're always pleasant, and you just amaze me every time I deal with you, and thank you so much personally.
And she is dedicated, Kenny. I cannot get her to help me talk about the other commissioners. She just smiles.
And I have to tell you that when he says that she works for 23,491 or 89 or whatever it is, citizens, when a citizen calls me and I can't get something done, I said, call Judy Flournoy. If you don't call her, I will call her, because she can get it done, and you do, Judy. You make us all look good, and we are eternally grateful. Thank you.
And I, too, would like to thank you, Judy, for the work you do. I don't think any commissioner up here uses these offices as much as I do. And she's always willing to work, stay here with me. Just last week, and I didn't realize last week until I left that she told me, she said, I'm going to be here, just go ahead and use the office. And then when I finished, I went upstairs and I went in the restroom, and immediately the front door was locked. And I said she really didn't have that time. She just stayed to accommodate me, and I really appreciate you as well as everybody else here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is recognize the GIS Department Award for first and second place in map production of Surveying and Mapping Society of Georgia. Director of Public Works and Utilities, Dr. Keller, will address.
Good evening, Commissioners. In every role in life, not everybody gets to climb a power line during a storm and get a recognition from another community, or they get to go out and they get to rescue somebody from a house that's burning. But you have to have a support team in order to make things work. This year's SOMSOG is the Society of Mapping Society for the state of Georgia. And Brian, Haynes, and Jeff, I encourage them and all my staff to enter into their professional career and their awards for recognition. And if you don't know how difficult GIS is, this year well, we've been responsible 10 years ago also. The city of Griffin very fortunate to have a GIS department long before many other cities. If you've never had to do reapportionment on a map, ask these two individuals what it takes in order to fudge all the lines, because once that document is signed, as you know, it's the official document. So these two gentlemen are the people that are responsible for that. This year, they Jeff and Brian, they're always quite busy, but this year it was extremely busy, and they were awarded in their divisions this year, respectively. Brian Haynes's project was for the tornado map that he submitted to FEMA in order for us to be able to get our money back and the county back. And his map this year was awarded first place. They will be going to get their plaques this week at their award ceremony, and he won first place. Well, that was pretty cool. The next thing you know, Jeff says, well, he's not the only person. And Jeff was submitted for AMI, his map for the electric department's AMI implementation. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you've ever sat behind a desk 8 to 12 hours a day pointing and clicking, I don't know how people do that, but that's what these two individuals do. Brian came to us several years back, and he was actually trained into this position. And the last thing that I want to say about Jeff is Jeff came to us basically from a consulting firm. As some of y'all know, he played with Doug Stone on the road professionally for 4 or 5 years. A very great musician. But he's come through the ranks. He is our certified floodplain manager. He also got his RLS while he's here. He's a registered land surveyor, and that saves the city of Griffin a lot of money when it comes to their daily actually work. I'm not going to bore you with the maps, but I did want you to know that we do have copies of the maps that you can see after this. But I want to take this thanks that y'all were going to recognize these people for not coming in just first, but first and second in the GIS category in the state of Georgia. And thank you.
Great.
Okay, and next is to recognize firefighter Daniel Cowles, Ryan Beavers, and Lieutenant Scott Collins for rescuing a citizen from a fire in December 2011.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for giving us this time on the agenda to recognize 3 of your bravest. I had the privilege of working with 63 of some of the best gentlemen you could ever work with in your life. These guys, not only are they husbands and fathers, but they're also extremely brave, and they're gentlemen all. And one of the things that's very common about all 63 of them is how they don't really care to be recognized for some of the things they do. But tonight's a very special night. December the 30th, I received a call. I was up in Atlanta, and I was given some news of a structure fire with a person trapped on the inside at 1019 West Poplar Street about 6 o'clock in the evening. And Battalion Chief Roger Slaughter, who's right here, y'all know Roger, gave me some wonderful news that although a man had been injured and was airlifted in serious condition, he was pulled out of this structure alive by Griffin Fire Rescue personnel. And I'm so privileged tonight that this gentleman, Mr. Wayne Garland, is here with us. Mr. Garland, would you come on? Here he is right here. Come on. Mr. Garland was treated for his injuries, and as you can see, is back to work and doing well. He came by the station not too long after he was released from the hospital and had his picture made with the fellows to thank him personally. But tonight I wanted to take just a moment to recognize the 3 guys who pulled him out of this house fire. These fellows do brave things every day, but it's very unique when a fireman is able to participate in a rescue of retrieving someone from inside a burning building. It sort of solidifies the histories and traditions of the chivalry and bravery of the fire service. And Lieutenant Scott Collins is here. We have Scott. Come on up, Scott. And firefighter Daniel Coles and firefighter Ryan Beavers, they were here tonight. When this structure fire broke out, they did an interior search of this building, and Coles and Beavers, the 2 gentlemen right there, actually found Mr. Garland, and then Lieutenant Collins came in and assisted with the rescue. And as you can see, this is one of those times where a lot of good investment by this commission and a lot of training over the years and with the right equipment, the right techniques have paid off to save a man's life. And I want to present them with some. John, may I have? I know a lot of times when we do things like this, we give certificates or plaques to put on the wall. But knowing some of the wives of our firemen and how they would not probably allow a certificate to be in their beautifully decorated homes, we came up with something here. Courier Knives were artists back in the 1800s that made some very beautiful depictions of some of the heroic acts committed by firefighters at that time. And this one right here, called Prompt to the Rescue, is the part of the American Fireman series. We purchased and have them framed, and we're going to ask them to put these in their home as a reminder of what they did for Mr. Garland on that 30 December 2011. So, Lieutenant Collins, you first, sir. When I was first named interim chief, the first guy I hired was a guy named Ron Beavers, and I haven't been disappointed since. Ron Beavers. And I'm also pleased to recognize Daniel Coles. Daniel. So pleased to present Mr. Garland to you. I don't know, did you prepare your speech, Mr. Garland? You didn't prepare, but you're welcome.
As I always have said every time I see you, thank you. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you for giving us this time tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, next we'll update the Board of Commissioners on the formation of the Institute of Homeland Security and Emergency Management at the University of Georgia Griffin campus.
Okay. Again, this is the first week of the beginning of a project that started about 3 years ago. Mayor Todd, when she was mayor last year, attended a kickoff event for the new University of Georgia Griffin Campus Institute of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Man, that's a mouthful of words, I know. But this program is something my department has been working with my good friends, Mr. Art Kane and Dr. Gerald Arkin at the UGA Griffin Campus to bring a professional program to our campus here in Griffin to help. It's actually for first responders, not just fire, but police, EMA, and pretty much anybody who's interested in the subject can come to the Griffin campus and take these courses. We have a lot of high hopes for this program. Just today I found out that the chief of the Atlanta Fire Department, Kelvin Cochran, is going to endorse this program and push for this to become a master's degree. So we're very pleased to have Chief Cochran's program with it. But again, this thing was kind of dead in the water a couple of years ago. To my good friend Art King called me and said, "Tommy, let's take that project you got and let's pick it back up and roll with it." But Art is here, and of course Dr. Arkin is here somewhere. There he is right there. We wanted to let you know we started Monday morning. We had 17 students in our class. It's 7 one-week modules to receive an executive certificate in the Homeland Security and Emergency Management disciplines, with a very bright and ambitious plan of it going to a full master's degree that you can get here at the Griffin campus. And we're excited about it. And I know Art would probably like to say a couple of words about the program too.
Well, yeah, I'd just like to echo much of what Tommy said. We are very excited about this particular program. This inaugural group of 17 is a great group. We've got folks from all over the area who are taking it, and we think it is a real example of the kind of partnership relationships that we are producing at the university. This is a partnership between the university, City of Griffin, Griffin Fire Rescue, FEMA. So we think this is a kind of model going forward that we can use to do other kind of programs.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask, well, the classes are going on this week. Again, we'll be meeting tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. If you get a chance to come by tomorrow, we're meeting in the Flint building at room 305. if you get a chance to come by and sit in for a few minutes, please do. I think you'll enjoy it. But thank you for letting us update you on this exciting program.
Thank you.
Good job.
Next, we'll move into citizen comment. At this time, the chairperson opened the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing, or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinions. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Having said that, is there anyone on my left that would like to come forward and address the board? Please come forward.
I should have come forward when the chief got up and talked about this Homeland Security program, but he and Art are the ones that
Would you please give us your name?
Jerry Arkin,
Okay.
University of Georgia. Sorry.
Thank you.
So I want to make a remark. Since the chief invited commissioners to come and take the opportunity and see and hear what's going on in the Homeland Security program, I did that this morning. And I think many of us who are not professionals in security, whether it's life safety, first responders, other security roles, don't really have a good appreciation of what these professionals face in terms of response, assistance. We just heard about the case of saving a man's life, but they save lives, save property, help us in the worst situations. And the few minutes I spent with these gentlemen and the instructor was enlightening, and to say the least, a real eye-opener. And I can't say enough good things about Tommy and Art Kane for providing this opportunity for all of us to be in the hands of those that are better equipped, whether it's a hurricane, a tornado, an earthquake, or some other disaster, whether it's a terrorist act, what all goes on behind the scenes. We just simply don't appreciate it because we don't know. And if you do have an opportunity to go and listen to one of the modules, whether it's a terrorism module or one of the other safety modules, just having a better appreciation of what FEMA does, what GMA does, and more importantly, what people we have who work for us, servants to the citizens, do for us, it's just remarkable. And the other thing that we're excited about is that this certificate program, we hope, will evolve into a graduate degree program and become a sustainable program and produce people with this experience, this background, this training in the region for as long as we can see on the horizon. So I thought it was important for me to stand up and just give testament to what these two great gentlemen are doing. Fire Chief and Art Kane are just doing a remarkable job putting this on, getting the grant to make it happen. And now it's up to us as a university to make sure that we get in place a degree program that offers a graduate level experience of the quality of the university ought to offer. And thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Arkin. And we had discussed this when we went up for the kickoff back in December. This will be bringing people from all over the state into Griffin and to UGA campus here. I think it's one of the finest things, cooperation between our two entities that we have ever had. And I'm just very, very proud that Art and Tommy and our Chief Strickland and our city manager were on board on this. And I have to also say Ray did a great job in the paper for us on giving us an article on it. So we're excited about it as well as you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Arkin. Okay, we don't have any public hearings, so we'll move into the consent agenda.
Anybody on the other side that wanted to speak? I'm sorry, ma'am.
Consent agenda.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. Is there anyone on my right that would like to come forward and address the board?
Let's see if it's all right.
Thank you. It's kind of funny that I was blending into the crowd tonight. My name is Shannon Heron. I live at 413 Terrace Street here in Griffin. And I just wanted to join all of you in commending Miss Judy. She has deserved this award for a very long time. She's one of the friendliest people, most helpful people that the city has employed for them. As a former candidate, she helped me understand things and requirements that I wouldn't have known or understood otherwise. I know Ryan and Shahira can vouch for that. We are just blessed as a city to have volunteers, elected officials, and employees who are so dedicated to moving this city forward for the best interest of me and my family and all of our other citizens. And I just thank you again tonight, y'all, in addition to Miss Judy. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on the right that would like to come forward and address the board? Okay, thank you. Now we'll move into our consent agenda.
Madam Chair, if there are no other corrections to the minutes, we have one correction, or set of corrections that received this evening. I would move that we approve the minutes of our regular scheduled meeting January 10th, subject to these corrections.
I second.
One other correction, I believe.
I wish that.
On tree board, I don't see where Mr. McLemore was appointed to be the representative. Is that correct? It's on page 5.
Yes, Scott McLemore reappointed Janet Smith.
No, he's talking about his appointment as a commissioner.
Yeah, District 3, it says City Griffin Tree Board, didn't it?
It's as a commissioner appointment.
As far as the board. What's that?
Is this?
So we need to add Ryan McLemore being appointed by the board.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Okay, so my motion will include that correction too.
Okay. I have a motion and a second with those corrections. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Okay, now we'll move into the regular agenda. Consider approval of a resolution to amend the City of Griffin fiscal year 2011-2012 operating budget in the amount of $30,000.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider a resolution to amend the City of Griffin's fiscal year 2011-2012 stormwater operating budget for the purchase of a multi-probe and associated equipment in the amount of $9,100.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Consider purchase of an F-150 pickup truck from Mall of Georgia Ford in the amount of $20,370 from Shoal Creek wastewater treatment plant.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the $20,370 as best bid for this truck.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? A motion and a second to approve. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider purchase of an F-250 pickup truck from Mall of Georgia Ford in the amount of $22,200 for the Water Distribution Division.
Madam Chair, I move we approve this purchase, again, as best bid for the truck.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider purchase of an F-350 one-ton crew cab dump truck from Mall of Georgia Ford in the amount of $35,740 for the street department.
Well, once again, Madam Chair, I move we approve this off the state contract best bid price.
Yes. Okay.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0.
Right. May I also point out for all of these purchases, they all came in under budget, which is always a nice thing to have done. Thank you, Dr. Keller.
Consider the reconstruction of the City of Griffin Municipal Golf Course greens by Champion Turf Farm for the amount not to exceed $81,000. Approve a resolution to amend the budget accordingly and approve the transfer of funds to the golf course operating fund from the golf course escrow account.
Make a motion.
You, go ahead, Doug.
Make a motion to approve.
And I second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, there is. I'm going to vote against this, and you probably all know why, but the golf course is scheduled to lose on our budget $321,000 this year, a loss. So that is being subsidized by our taxpayers. Also, a significant portion of the folks playing there outside the city, which means our taxpayers are subsidizing folks who don't even live in the city. I once again think we ought to close this and not lose this money and burden our taxpayers. So I'm going to vote against this as part of that overall opinion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve.
Matt, stay where to real quick. I'm going to vote against them, not necessarily for the same reasons that I'm going to go back to our last, amended budget item that we had before. I know we got a difficult situation coming up as far as what our residential property taxes and things like that are looking like. I know this is from an escrow account that's essentially for the purposes of capital improvements for the golf course, but right now, being an unbudgeted item, I feel like it's something that we should include in the actual budget discussion at the same time that we are talking about the golf course for this upcoming year, which I know would delay it for a year as well, if we're trying to get on the slate for this company's doing the work. So I'm going to vote against that. I just feel like we have bigger priorities right now, and given that we did not have this included in our original budget, and with a discussion of that time, I'm going to just want to put that on the record.
Well, I'd like to proudly say I'm voting for it because it is a capital expense. It was put in this escrow account from the early 90s for the purpose of maintaining the golf course. It's not going to be used for parks, for sidewalks or anything like that. It's to update an amenity that's very dear to quite a few of the people of the city of Griffin. And I think that anytime you have something that is as lovely and as nice as our golf course, and we have an opportunity to improve it, that we should do that, especially since the money has been set aside and can be used for nothing else except the golf course. Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 5-2. Okay. Consider the new 2012 toilet rebate program for water conservation plan for the city of Griffin.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider a task force order in accordance with the master services agreement with Paragon Consulting Group in the amount of $10,185 for the civil engineering design surveying, bid documents, and construction management for 425 feet of 16-inch water main located at Coke Water Tank and East Poplar Street.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Why are we moving this water main?
Because the water line is parallel to the footer of that Coke building.
It's parallel to the footer.
It's right on it.
Oh, right next to it.
You know, you have less than 1 foot, 12 inches of
Try to
clearance
work
between
on
the
it.
building and that 16-inch water main.
Okay, thank you.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider a resolution to amend the City of Griffin's General Fund fiscal year 2011-2012 cemetery operating budget in the amount of $8,000 for monument restoration.
And this is for the Angel Monument?
And the Civil War monument.
Okay, I move we approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider an assignment agreement between the City of Griffin and the City of Brenton, Georgia, transferring to Brenton 0.0020% of the output and services on Griffin's combined cycle project in the amount of $17,949.02, a one-time payment from Brenton.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Bill, this is the first of some more you're working on?
Yes, we have another one coming up in the near future. We have a verbal, and probably about 5 times the size of this one.
I appreciate all the work that you're doing on this to reduce our capacity that we're not using and costing us money. So, Bill, I'd like to thank you for doing that.
Amen.
Thank you. And just a small note on that, and we'll update you soon. Out of the 49 to 51 cities that are trying to do the same thing we are only one of 3 cities that will not have an increase in the next year because of our fuel management.
Fantastic.
I like the up to $100,000 in future purchases. That sounds good.
Can we vote?
Yeah.
We
Didn't
vote. Did we vote?
Didn't, I don't think.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Consider the rebuild of unit number 716, a 2003 Terex bucket truck by Terex Utilities in the amount of $32,230.63.
Madam Chair, I vote we approve this. It's much cheaper than a new truck.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider approval to distribute 50% of the electric cities of Georgia 2011 year-end settlement to the newly formed ECG Budget Stabilization Reserve.
I move we approve this. I would like a word from Bill on this for me.
As of 3 years ago, when MEAG and Electric Cities separated, there was a 3-year kind of, for lack of better words, just a separation clause. And after 3 years, our participants now have the ability to pick and choose or eliminate or drop out of services. So we needed a budget stabilization fund for Electric Cities of Georgia that when these slight variations happen, that we're able to not have a crucial budget shortfall or items. So this was the perfect time to try to establish this reserve fund. And what happens is during the year-end settlement process, only one city out of the 51 so far is not going to participate. So we're all agreeing to donate 50% of our year-end into the budget stabilization, which only helps us manage our ECG budgets in the years to come.
Second his motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider approval of the withdrawal of $300,000 from the MEAG Competitive Trust short-term portfolio for payment of Smart Sync per our payment schedule for AMI meters.
I move we approve the transfer.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve.
Let me ask again a question. How are we doing on the AMI? How far along are we?
Well, we're doing great. We're actually ahead of schedule. That's why I'm asking you to make this partial payment. We have about $593,000 left to pay. We will be fully deployed within about the next 2 months. And we have
2 months, you said?
about 2 months for electric meters. We're doing a mass deployment. So we are asking your approval to pay about half of that, and then we're going to hold the rest to make sure that we have a little bit of leverage when before we finalize and make sure that our live billing is working correctly.
Then after the full deployment, how long until we get it all working and automated?
We are testing right now, and we're having very successful testing, so I would assume that we will be very close to live billing.
Our meter readers are on an annual contract.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I assume we have through the end of 2012, huh?
We do, but there's a lot of moving parts to that also with water, electric. But yes, we will be able to reduce those costs in the very near future.
They were out in force today.
Thank you.
In our neighborhood.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, let me know by show of hands. No, did I have a second?
Mm-hmm.
Who seconded? Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I
This is
seconded.
7-0. Okay. Consider the purchase of a 1 par-can, 6-yard container from Enviro Waste Equipment Incorporated, the sole source provider, at the cost of $11,840 for use in the residential solid waste division.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the purchase.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion?
Along this same line, you keep talking about needing more roll-off containers because you don't have enough. Are they coming? Is that request coming or not?
Yeah, no.
You sit down now.
I digress to my boss, and he's looking over at me like, what? But no, so far, we're managing right now. We did have a really, really big rush. We lost a lot of this business that we maybe could have had, but so far so good. The cyclical part of it has kind of relaxed a little bit, and I was contacted today by the company that's going to be doing the work at the new medical building there on 8th Street over there, and I committed to them, and we have some containers put back for them. So far so good, but we may just wait till the new budget year to see how things work out. We're trying to squeeze it as much as we can.
Yeah, but if they're making us money, it's a good investment.
They'll make some money. It's a good investment. I agree with you.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0.
Thank you.
Consider the purchase of 2 4-yard stationary compactors from New Life Environmental, the lowest and most responsive bidder, for the use in the solid waste commercial collection division at the total cost of $27,156, $13,578 each, and amend the budget accordingly.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the comment.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute, let's get a second, and then he can comment. How about that?
Okay.
Or if we don't have to second it, if we don't like your comment. Maybe you need to make your comment.
A motion and a second.
This $17,000 or $13,000 each makes us $40,000 this year and $62,000 next year. I love that. That's
Yes,
why I think about the roll-offs too.
These are compactors for Caterpillar and for Perkins both. Since they've added the additional workload over there in that other engine line that Cat's putting out, they need some expansion. So if we could get that much more industrial, revenue business, I mean, we're set to go. It's ready.
We pretty much have service contracts with these people that use these compactors, though, so we're pretty much assured the income.
Well, I noticed you said it's a non-budgeted expense.
Right. It was something that we didn't foresee because when we did the budget last year, naturally, things were kind of really down. But since things have picked up ever so slightly, and Caterpillar is into a business now to where they've ceased production of their over-the-road diesel truck engines for several years because they couldn't really build one to meet the EPA, what they call Tier 3 emissions control. But now, since they've kind of went back to the drawing board for the last couple of years, they do have one that'll actually even make the Tier 4, they call it, emissions, and this would be the plant that builds them to correlate with that expansion that they're doing over there in the park. So they jumped on it with us, and we jumped back, and that's
well. I appreciate the flexibility. Thank you.
You got
Okay,
a
motion.
That's your middle name now, flexibility.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider approval of a resolution to submit the 2012 Community Development Block Grant application for $500,000 to the Georgia Department of Community Affairs to make public infrastructure improvements in the North Griffin low-income area.
Madam Chair, I move we approve. Again, I have a question.
Can you get a second?
I'll second.
A motion? Okay, go
Madam
ahead.
Chairman, I need to abstain due to owning property in that general area.
Okay.
This grant, which is about the fourth in a row we've done for there, which is good business, requires a $295,833 cash match. Are you prepared to do that? That's a chunk of money.
We've been doing in-kind here.
Huh?
We'll put it in next year's budget. If we get the grant, we'll put it in there. We spend $300,000 and get $500 additional. So we budgeted for it in the past and have been successful in getting the grant.
All right.
So if y'all approve next year's budget with that expenditure in there.
Sounds like it's going to be tough, but good. You can do it.
You did make the motion to approve.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Okay.
somebody seconded it, didn't they?
I seconded it.
Okay, all right. All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0.
No.
6, okay, what he said. Okay, consider approval of a joint resolution between the City of Griffin and Spalding County recommending legislation forming the Griffin-Spalding County Airport Authority to be transmitted to the local legislative delegation for its introduction and passage in the Georgia General Assembly.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve it as written in this agreement.
Second.
As it's written in the city agreement.
City agreement, right.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. Okay, 7-0. Consider approval of a joint consider lease with law offices of G. Allen Dotson LLC for 1283 rental square feet of space located at 100 South Hill Street, Suite 405, 1 Griffin Center.
I move we approve, and glad he's Hispanic.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. Okay. Consider approval to consider request from Spalding County to jointly fund a contract with Joe Tanner and Associates to provide consulting services to Spalding County with respect to the proposal of the United States EPA to include Spalding County in the new Atlanta ozone non-attainment area.
Madam Chairman, I approve that I make the motion to deny this request.
Second.
May I address that? I understand the logic of the double taxation issue. In this particular case, since being relieved of non-attainment in our area would have a lot of other advantages, and the first phase is only $7,500, which is a relatively small amount, I think the practicality of this and the advantages for the relatively small amount outweighs the double taxation for this small amount. And I think we need to approve it. To get out of the attainment area would be a huge advantage. So this would go against my general philosophy.
And originally, I said that basically that I agree with what Joanne said and what Doug has said. I understand that this would be good for the whole county, and I understand that other cities or the county are taking the responsibility. But I also understand that the county has not funded for this either, and I don't think that what they're asking us is to do is jointly fund it. But it's my understanding that they're going to do it regardless of whether we fund it or not. So I think that I feel like we have some financial responsibility to help out.
I agree with that. This is very modest.
Right. I made the motion to deny. I am a city taxpayer. I'm a county taxpayer. I get all my services from the city of Griffin. I am no burden to Spalding County. I pay my taxes. I think, and as a resident of Spalding County, I think that I should get some return on my investment as a taxpayer of the city of Griffin. I have a problem with what city commissioners will say, okay, I'm not going to waste city residents' money in one area, but have no compunction about double taxing them on another area. I just don't see how the city of Griffin can continue to almost double tax our citizens for joint projects that we end up funding almost the entire part. That's the reason I
If I might weigh in on this, in 1997, the General Assembly passed House Bill 489, which had a provision for the first time in Georgia law addressing this issue of double taxation. And what that provision appears to say, and what a superior court, at least in Gwinnett County last year, agreed it did say, is that in these situations such as this, where there is double taxation, the county has to pay its share out of a special tax district. Now, that tax district would make up the unincorporated area of the county so that you wouldn't have this double taxation. You tax within the city, they tax within the unincorporated area. In the absence of that, they should not be using county general funds to pay for a project like this. But I heard Cynthia say just then, even if the city doesn't participate in the funding, they're going to pay for it anyway. That's fine. It's a county-wide service that they should pay for if they're going to use general fund. Now, I've not heard that they're going to use anything other than general fund so far.
How certain are we that they're going to go forth with it if we don't support it?
I've just heard this board just stated. I don't know. I don't know for a fact. Mr. Wilson's here. You might want to address that to him.
Mr. Wilson advised me this morning that the county passed it last night and was asking us to participate in funding. The contract is between the consultant and Spalding County. We're not a party to the contract.
Okay.
So it's already a done deal.
Yeah.
The contract is between Spalding County and the consultant, and Spalding County approved the contract last night from what I was told.
Okay.
We would be reimbursing the county for whatever portion you chose to reimburse them as a joint effort, but the contracts between the other two entities were not a party to the contract.
On the information you gave us, Kenny, you had a breakdown of, somebody had a breakdown of, the portion, how did you come up with that number? What portion, if we were to pay it, how?
Well, they simply asked for joint funding, which originally I understood as being 50-50. I simply made the suggestion that if you were going to fund anything, you might consider funding it based on our population in relation to the county. But that's not a service delivery strategy legal answer. That's simply just a possibility that I threw out to you as an alternate to 50-50.
So legally, Drew, what you're saying that we shouldn't do it? We shouldn't?
I'm saying that the service delivery strategy gave you a legal mechanism not to continue to be subject to double taxation. And it provided a mechanism which really until the Gwinnett County case last year, cities largely had not been bold enough to step forward and say to counties, you're going to have to follow the law and start creating these special tax districts and raising funds from these special districts because we're only going to pay our fair share of cost. Now, I think you're going to see, particularly with the loss negotiations that are going to take place during the rest of this year, I think you're going to see more counties coming forward. I've already had some discussions with cities in Coweta County. Henry County cities are looking at some of this, and I think, it might get ugly. But at the same time, I think it's only fair to your citizens that you follow the law and the tax scheme the General Assembly has established.
Okay. Do we have a motion and a second?
Yeah, my motion was to deny the request, and Doug seconded it.
Let me just say this, because I feel similarly to you that we do have some, because we're all in the same area. I think we have some obligation to it. I just don't know that our obligation is 50-50. So at the expense of agreeing right now that the only way for us to participate is to be 50-50, I'll say no. But that's not that I don't think that we shouldn't be responsible for some portion of it, because we will benefit from it if the non-attainment zone is removed. So for the record, I don't agree with the 50-50, but I'm open to considering some portion of the funding that will assist, because we need it. It's not that if they remove it, it's just going to benefit the county.
And I'd be open to consideration, the renegotiation of House Bill 49 and delivery service drive as of now.
Well, the population basis would be 40%, which would be $6,000 if you just use that.
I don't, my motion is on the board that we, and it, with a second, that we deny. We either vote my motion up and down and discuss this other stuff, or I'll withdraw my motion. But we have, legally, we have a motion to vote on.
Okay. All in favor of denying the motion as it was written as a joint contract, between the city and county, let it be known by show of hands. Okay. That's 6-1. Okay. Is that it? That everything on the agenda? Okay. Now move to the city manager's report.
Okay, we didn't have a workshop today, but keep in mind that we have 2 workshops in February. At both February meetings, we'll have a workshop, very important workshops, including the second meeting in February on the 28th will be our goal session, which should be quite extensive, and if you'll kind of plan your day around what we have planned, because we have a lot of information to discuss. Just a reminder, groundbreaking tomorrow morning at the hospital for the new emergency department. That's at 11:30 tomorrow morning. And Monday night we have a meeting at Fairmont at the Community Center regarding the redevelopment area over there. Mr. Gardner and Mr. Kurt and the Planning and Development Department will have a meeting over there at the Fairmont Community Center at 6 p.m.
And when is that, Kenny?
Monday night at 6 p.m. And you should have gotten a flyer that looks like this in your box, so I'm just issuing a reminder. And that's all I have tonight.
Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Drew, you have anything?
I just reemphasize what Kenny says. I think in the next month you're going to have to make some very important decisions that you're going to influence the course of the next year. So come prepared for that meeting in February.
That's all there. Commissioner Bayon?
I'd just like to say that the mayor's conference this weekend was, in my opinion, was a success. I really enjoyed it. But I would like to put a challenge out to the commissioners that we do a better job of all of this information that we are taking in, that we do a better job of getting it out to the citizens where they can understand it better. Because where I see it now, we're getting this information for ourselves, but I don't see, and maybe somebody can correct me after this meeting is over, but I don't see where we are doing a job of putting it out to the citizens where they can also benefit from it.
Thank you. Commissioner Morrow?
Yes, at the Transportation Committee meeting, we had an interesting program. One part of it I'll briefly touch on. Doug Calloway is the director of the Georgia Transportation Alliance, which is a group formed by the Georgia Chamber of Commerce to coordinate the T-SPLOS passage throughout the state. And we know in these tough economic times it's a hard sell. But he says the state chamber has a message and they'd like everybody sort of consider using the same message. And the important thing for folks to remember is the transportation SPLOST really with the dollars is jobs, jobs, jobs. It'll create a lot of jobs in Georgia, a lot of economic development. So point 1 is jobs, 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 and economic development. Part 2 is safer roads. We all have a personal experience with friends and family and so on with accidents and deaths and traffic problems. And people are very concerned about road safety, and this will allow a lot of transportation improvements that will help safety. So point 2 is safer roads. And part 3 is that this is local, local, local. It doesn't go through the federal government or the state government to be skimmed. It's local money, we raise, spend it local. So all the safer roads and the jobs, everything is local. And that's what we should tell the voters. And, you know, they can vote it up or down, but that are the strengths of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hobart?
Has there been any resolution, Mr. Smith, regards to Blue Cross Blue Shield and Tenet Healthcare?
I haven't heard anything in about a week and a half to 2 weeks, and I'm not aware of any resolution.
And all the employees are aware of that?
Yes.
Coming, that's February 1st?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We'll stay on top of it, and hopefully they'll either reach a conclusion between now and then or immediately thereafter, we hope.
Okay. Commissioner McLemore.
Had a few comments, and actually Shahir kind of segued into it because I enjoyed our conference this weekend. I had class on planning and zoning, and a couple of interesting things I kind of took away from it. One, they showed a slide I think everybody else kind of nodded their heads about was showing a before and after picture of essentially your roadway, the street that has all the big signs on it. And I know we always kind of get on this sign topic a lot and have a good discussion about it, but you know, it basically showed a littered street of pole signs, and then afterwards the monument signs. And I know one of the things I would be in favor of if we ever did look at this in our goals workshop and whatnot would be zoning the eventually recycled, that sort of thing out. And because the first thing that popped in my mind was Taylor Street up through North Expressway. It just looked like that picture. So that was one thing I took away. Another thing was we had the mayor of Brunswick talking, and he was talking a lot about their redevelopment plans and whatnot, but big thing kind of hit with me was this discussion on the blighted properties, vacant blighted properties, and don't hold me to this, I think he said in 5 years they've demolished 170 vacant properties. I remember thinking it was a nice average every year. He said their goal was essentially to average out one a week is what they're trying to work towards. I'd like that to be our goal. You know, that's a high goal, but you know, I'd like to see us be able to accelerate that. And I know we always talk of it in terms of money, but I think more of it in terms of priorities, because we have money issues come up, and as far as how we choose to use those dollars. The other thing I wanted to mention is we made a correction on our minutes for the vote for Judge Cook. I got approached by a person asking me, why'd you vote out Judge Cook? Why'd you blindside him? I guess he felt a little bit blindsided in the background. I said, well, you're going to have the 4 people that chose not to vote for him. And he said, well, you voted for him, and I don't know if they got that from minutes or if it was paper or what, but I just want to make it clear. I would like to see us do something to recognize his service. And then lastly, if the presentations and delegations doesn't make you feel good about what's going on as far as the people that work in the city and you know, from the fire department, the rescues, I don't know what will, but that was a great way to start this meeting, and I was very proud of all those people.
No comment.
Well, I'll touch on 2 things, and I would like to thank Mr. Smith and Tommy for the Martin Luther King parade. It was very smooth. It was an excellent crowd. The city performed all of its duties well, and the commissioners didn't have to stand out in the cold or anything like that, so that was very, very nice. After our last meeting, I was approached by the media table back there saying they have a very hard time hearing the conversations up here. And they wondered if they might could move their table a little bit closer. They probably would be in danger of their lives if they did, because we might throw things at you. But I don't know. Did you hear everything tonight? You did.
Wake up, Larry.
I did try to move the table out a little bit where you could see, because I knew the pole blocked this side, so I tried to push it out, and I told Mr. Johnson that we have some headphones for the hearing impaired, but he don't want to wear them, so. Well, and I was going to put it over here, but they can't, if we use the screen for a presentation, they can't see it over there, so.
Right. We may have some challenges, but I did address that. And the T-Splosh, I will be probably giving one of the first programs on the Transportation Splosh on February the 9th to the Republican Women's Group. And I had already informed them that if they asked me that I would like to do that, and bring handouts and let them know that it is jobs. It's a SPLOST that will benefit our community because it will create jobs. And we need jobs, and I think that the Chamber is absolutely correct in that we need to promote jobs in this community. Other than that, I don't have anything else to say. Thank you.
I guess I just want to commend some departments. I listened to what Ryan said about the conference and the planning and zoning meeting. And probably unless you come over to the north side in the Thomaston Mere area, you can't really see what has happened in the city of Griffin with what we've done, what we've been able to do with blight and substandard housing. When I came on up 10 years ago, up until about 8 years ago, when we actually really got started with working over there, and the actual start, I think we kind of got started before Frederick got here. Was kind of chief in the police department kind of kicked it off. But we went to a lot of different places and saw what a lot of other cities were doing, and we kind of came up with some stuff ourselves. But we've torn down a lot of houses, and the transformation of what it has done in that community is just astonishing. And also with the water and sewer projects that they got going on over there now into the third phase, that kind of started out with planning and development with blight housing, and somehow Brent ended up getting it, reaping the benefits from it. But we've done a lot of work, a lot of stuff over there. They've done a lot of stuff, and it was the police department, planning and development, code enforcement. A lot of departments worked. It was not just one department of a few people, but it's been a lot. I can't tell you how many houses, but it's a lot of them been torn down. It ain't a whole lot of places for drug dealers to hide. It's opened up the neighborhood, and I'm looking forward to when we can see some new development coming up over there. But it's really been remarkable what has happened over there in the area.
Ms. Ward, Mr. McLemore made a comment about recognizing Judge Cook. Is that something that the board would like to do at a future meeting?
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I think that we should. I would like to see us do that.
And I do think it's really unfortunate this came up so quick. We didn't have a chance to ease into it. I felt bad about that.
Okay, we'll make arrangements to do that when we can schedule him to be here.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right.